darlings, it's Keely here, and I just wanted to hop on before I troll off to work to show you my masterboard. And I made this my last video, and I decorated it with a teeny tiny spring ephemera from my newest cut and collage book, and some backgrounds mostly from the Spring Patterns and Papers book, which I published a little while ago. And I was really wanting to make ATCs with this masterboard, but I couldn't bear to cut it up, so I chickened out. But look what I've just done. Ta-da! I used up all the leftover pieces, almost all of them, and made a new masterboard. So I don't need to be sad about cutting this one up because I've already got a complete one. Now, on this one, I did use a bit of that green washi tape, you can see, and some flowers, but I haven't bothered on this one. I think it's a little bit, the texture of washi tape is slightly sort of shiny and a little bit, not greasy exactly, but you know what I mean. It's a bit slippery, and I thought I wouldn't bother. I'd just keep it simple so that my teeny tiny images are going to fit really well on the ATCs without sliding around too much on the washi tape. I might go back on that and add a bit of washi tape when I get to actually making ATCs, but yeah, so all I need to do is trim the edges a little bit, carefully remove it from my masterboard book, which has got quite a few of these in now, which if you want to see those, look back at the last video, previous one. And yeah, I've got videos on all the masterboards I made here. So yeah, basically I need to cut this up and then have a look and see what I've got to make ATCs. So excited for that. I love making ATCs. I haven't done it very many times. I've done maybe 3 or 4 sets. So yeah, can't wait to get started. I have trimmed off the edges just with the scissors all the way around. I've obviously removed it from the book, and now I am thinking about how I'm going to cut this up. So my artist trading cards are going to be portrait, I think. I haven't really experimented with, you know, the landscape format, but I think I am going to do 2.5 wide and 3.5 deep. So let's get going. That side, right, that side was like I started here and finished here, so this side's got lots of little bits. So let us let's go this way up. I've ended up with 9. It seems like a bit of a funny number. I think 10 would be a good number to make a set of ATCs, wouldn't you? But no, you end up with 9 when you cut up a masterboard book that size. Right, so I have not got any ephemera left from this little beauty, so I'm going to have to look through and choose some that's going to go on these ATCs, and everything's a spring-like colour, so I think it's not going to be too tricky. So I've already got lots of lovely spring things. The tricky part might be getting things to stand out enough so you can really see the images. So probably a bit of inking there is going to help with that. And I do want to use some of these labels too, because I like to have a sentiment or a label on my ATC. So I'll probably put one on each. Lots of them are in these really pretty florals. And there's some garden themed ones, and there's some really tiny ones here, which I think even on these are probably too small, unless I was going to make a slightly plainer background maybe and make some inchies. So yeah, probably won't use those images, but these almost certainly. Oh, and I've got some butterflies there. They might come in handy, mightn't they? So a butterfly, a label, and 2 or 3 other images, I think, for each one. And we'll see how we get on. I couldn't resist punching the corners with my corner rounder at this stage. Normally I'd do it at the end, but I just couldn't help myself. So I've done the corners already. And yes, it might be that I end up with some little pieces that need to get rid of those, that need to get trimmed, but probably I can just do those with the scissors. So there we are. And as I say, my paper trimmer needs a new blade, so the edges aren't great. I might just do those with a nail file at the end. So yeah, they're just a bit more satisfying for me to work on with those lovely rounded corners. There's my 9 bases. Oh no, that's 8, that's 9. Yeah, I know, I was a teacher, I can't count. There we are. So now to choose some ephemera. Let us see. I have got all these tiny patterns at the back, but obviously I've already got my backgrounds here, and these are bigger images. Can you see how these have got much more sort of shrunk down tiny patterns? So if you're looking for tiny patterns in those spring-like colours, there's 3 pages of those at the back. And or you could just make tiny pieces of art with 1 each of those backgrounds, like I did at the front there, because that's what I used to make these. There we go. Right, so what shall we have? What shall we have? Put these so that I can see them at the same time. Maybe a few of these animals, that would be nice. Very cute. And the doors are very pretty and spring-like too, aren't they? Could be like dogs and, you know, walkies time. Sorry if I've just given your dog a very exciting word to get them looking forward to a WALK. My dogs even used to know what WALK was. They were clever dogs. Well, one of them was anyway. Yeah, let's have this little dog in his jacket, 'cause he's so cute. There were, keep these backgrounds as well, because those tiny pieces might come in handy. Make sure I'm only cutting through 1 page. Now I've got a little box of some of the words I might just manage to see in there, and the little pieces that I've salvaged from the edges of the ephemera. Ooh, really got that door. So like this. So I've designed the book so that you can even use all these teeny tiny pieces there as well. So yeah, right, there's number 1. Perhaps we need a pretty door. I rather like that country cottage one. There were some very sweet dogs yesterday going past my place of work. They all, because the sun was out yesterday, and I would say long may that continue, but it's all misty again today and grey. But yeah, there were loads of little city dogs trotting along in their little jackets. There was one in a yellow cardi that looked hand knitted. It was just so cute. There. Right, so what else have we got? A dog, we've got a door. I love that image so much. Size-wise, most of these are ATC size, or she would just fit, wouldn't she? But only just. We'll take up the whole height of the ATC. She's cute. Let's have her. And yes, I know, I do try and pick images from the edge. They are a bit easier to reach. And you can see in this book I do try and make a bit of a themed page, whether it's the colour or the actual content on each page. I don't just jumble up random spring stuff. I do try and make things that are going to work well together. Probably save that tiny piece as well. And there we go. Perhaps we need some other yellowy things. What about the kitten with the yellow bow? Very spring-like. Oh, she's the girl on the front cover, isn't she? Cover girl. Spring Cutting Collage cover girl. And I'm working on my summer version of this, if you haven't heard me mention it already. And having loads of fun with that, even though it's only just, we're only just into March. But, you know, you've got to get ahead with these things. Otherwise they're not published in time. Right. Girl with the wellies is really sweet, isn't she, in her dungarees? Can you see her? Let's have her as well. And all the time I am being mindful of how much space I'm leaving for those little leftover pieces. But I do want to leave a little edge around all of my fussy cuts. There we go, a few more sweet peas. Ooh, there we are. Yeah, because those might be really handy later on, and they're already cut, so could make a teeny tiny masterboard perhaps. Oh, you can't see these, can you? There we go, it's because I zoomed in. Right, those are my leftovers. So I'm just starting to think which images I could put with which other images to create like a little story. So I think the girl with the wellies probably lives somewhere muddy, and this looks quite rural, so that sort of works. And the girl with the pretty hat and the bonnet and the pretty dress probably goes with the kitten with the bow, because that's all sort of pretty and sweet and sort of, you know, they're dressed up a little bit, aren't they? Whereas the wellies girl and the kitten with the bow, well, she's clearly going to go and get muddy, isn't she? So don't think she'd be walking that dog because he's got his posh coat on with the flowers. So do you see what I mean? I'm just trying to make like a little story. Got to have a blue tit, haven't we? Look at these. Let's maybe cut one of those. Do we want the one in the tree or the one in the box? That one's easier to cut out, isn't it? I think I want the one in the tree though. Just make my life a bit more tricky. I do try and make the images in my cut and collage books easy to cut, but sometimes they're just too pretty, and you know, you can cut round those, and you can always ink things that stand out a bit too much. What have we got on the back here? They're lovely, aren't they? Not sure if my lighting's quite right today. Let me just... Oh, that's a bit better, isn't it? My dears, you want the shade. Just trim those. Little teeny tiny pieces. Not sure what will go with him, but or her, but let's see. Beautiful owl in a tree there. We've got all these kind of fashion ladies in their spring attire. They're a bit more city looking, aren't they? Not quite so trees in the countryside, rural. What about that little watering can with springtime on it? That could go with that bird quite well. I'm not completely wedded to these ideas. They're just starting points, really. And what I might do is switch the ideas across to a different background just to make the most of everything, make the most of the bits on the background that I really like those big pink flowers that are on some of them. There. So that might go well with that. It's a bit more green, isn't it? More of a greeny one. Seeds. Oh, I've got to have some of these ladies. She'd work very well, wouldn't she? And plus she's near the edge, so easy for me to get the scissors into. So sending lots of well wishes to Nicole at Relax Cut Glue, because it's so rare for her not to do a video, and I know she's got the flu and she's been like throwing up and everything. So poor Nicole, sending lots of healing love to you, Nicole. But hey, while she's not around, I'm going to crack on with my ATCs for this week. There we go. I suppose I could always watch some of her old videos, couldn't I? Because, Nicole, you do keep me company when I'm doing my videos sometimes, especially if I'm working, you know, without talking. There, she's gorgeous, isn't she? That might be a rather good one. Quite a strong image and quite a strong pink flower. Yeah, that works. Those are a bit softer, aren't they? More subtle. Might be able to utilise some of those hearts as well. Let's see. Perhaps I'll go for another one of those. I think she's rather beautiful as well. Let's have her. I mean, they're all beautiful. Otherwise, I wouldn't have put them in the book. But to, as I've said many times, try and include different ethnicities and skin tones. And yeah, I need to keep working on that because the world's a big place and there's a lot of diversity. But you can't fit everything in. But these books with the teeny tiny images, there is a bit more scope simply because there are so many more images in the book because they're all so small, you can just fit more in. So she could maybe go on that one where those umbrellas are. Got some cute animals and birds there. What about those two piggies? I like those. Again, they are quite rural, aren't they? Perhaps they could go with the girl in the wellies. Perhaps she's going to go and visit the piglets. Let's have that. I remember taking a school trip to a sort of one of those farms that you can visit and take kids to. And there were a lot of pigs on that particular farm. It was in Surrey somewhere here in the UK. And there was pig racing. I think it was Godstone Farm, something like that. It was probably about 10 years ago, and oh my goodness, the pig racing was so funny. The pigs just loved it. They were running along these sort of tracks and jumping over things, and you know, there was a very clear place where they had to run along, and it was just hilarious, and the kids were having so much fun. These were the younger ones, so most of them were about 4, 5, 6 years old. And there's pretty background on those, isn't there? Little spring meadow flowers. So I can't wait to use all those little scraps up as well. Let's have that bit. You see, put a teeny tiny pattern, and you can still use all those teeny tiny pieces. There, that's rather sweet, isn't it? She's off out to go and visit the piglets. We might not have room for any words there. Lots more ladies. And some more houses, wellies. Might come back for those if I need some accessories. There's a bumblebee. That could go well on there, couldn't it? A little bit more nature. Oh, I quite like that frog as well. Or a snail. Oh, I can't pick. Maybe we'll have the snail and keep with the green, and I'll save that bee for another project. Here's a whole page of bee stuff, actually. Oh no, I'm giving it away. That's going to be in my summer book. See, I told you I've been working on it. So yeah, spoiler alert, there is a bee page coming up on there. Some very pretty images. See, look, that one's really nice too, catkins. There's our little snails, so they can go together. Definitely need some words. If I can't find the words in this book, I have got some teeny tiny, let's see if I can get them without knocking the, what's them? I've got these teeny tiny stamps, so I could stamp things like spring or new life, or, you know, really short ones that will just hopefully fit in nicely. So I could do that, or I've got one here that I didn't use. Let's just see for size. A fresh beginning. Yeah, I think size-wise they work really, really well on artist trading cards, and that was what I designed them to fit on. So yeah, glad to see that that sort of sits quite well on there. Anyway, what's the time? I think I need to go and eat and get ready for work now. So I'm going to be back to carry on a little bit later. And I'm also going to cut some more images out and do some fussy cutting, which I'll probably do off camera because you don't need to see all of that. Okay, see you in a bit. Well, goodness me, sometime later. I said I'd be back, but this is like about 2 weeks later. Oh dear. So half the things I've said in that video have kind of been and gone now. Nicole is better. Well done, Nicole, for recovering so well from being poorly. I've had a migraine for about 10 days. I've got so much stuff going on in my life, work things, personal stuff, home things. Everything is just all going on at once. Hence, I have not had the chance to get back and finish my ATCs. Now, where is the 9th ATC? I hear you cry. Well, I made it into a little tiny Mother's Day card for my mum when I went down to see her. My mum's actually been quite poorly, so I've not actually been home all that much. It's another thing going on. She is quite a bit better now. And yeah, poor old mum, she is 86 and love her to bits. I know she's not watching. You're not watching, are you, mum? Anyway, right, so I need to get on and finish these gorgeous little ATCs. Otherwise, it'll be summer before they are done. So Pirit stick time. I'm just going to go for it with the ones I've already done. So we've got, oh, I did some fussy cutting. So I cut out all the things that I was just showing you in the previous bit of the video. And I've got this little box that I bought some makeup in a while ago. Really good makeup, by the way, Delilah. I loved it. And look, I can actually even fit, I can just fit a pair of scissors in there. So I take this to work with me occasionally. Hang on. There we go. Take it to work with me, take my book, and then when I've got a few moments, I can sit there and do a bit of a nice meditative fussy cutting while I'm at work. Brilliant. I love that little box. I might even need to get some more makeup to get another box like that. I could decorate it, couldn't I, and just keep it for this one book and keep all of the tiny pieces in. Because I did have this box, but it's not very pretty, is it? Well, I could tart it up a bit. But I really like this little slidey box. It just is, it works for me. So, yeah, I'm going to keep an eye out for any other boxes like that and keep them. Right, enough rambling. This is going to be a marathon video if I'm not careful. So let's just stick these down right now. So it's nice to get back to doing something just, you know, simple and joyful and pretty. So I have picked up a brush. Oh, I haven't inked it. Oh, I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to bother this time. I want to keep that bright, fresh look. I might ink the ATC at the end. I don't want to make it all vintage and, you know, let's just keep it bright this time. Because the world needs some brightness at the moment, does it not? There we go. A little blue tit in a tree. Let's stick that straight bit just there. Can you see? Let's zoom in a little bit more and try and keep you in frame. And how beautiful is she? So I do, as I'm sure you can work out, I do use AI to make these books. And I know people have got very strong feelings about AI. Personally, without AI, I just wouldn't be able to make these books. Can you imagine what it would cost me to get an illustrator to illustrate even just that one picture? Can you imagine how much money I would pay somebody? And I'd have to describe it. I'd have to like their style. You know, without AI, these books wouldn't be happening. And you know, if you don't like AI, you don't have to buy my books. But I can tell you almost certainly that most cut and collage books these days that are being produced are produced with AI. But I could be wrong. You know, let me know if there is somebody diligently illustrating away and creating cut and collage books with, you know, by hand. This just couldn't happen. You can see how many images we've got going on here. So, yeah, so many advances in technology at the moment. And, yeah, it's a really exciting time. I think I'm not sure I'm happy with where I've put that. I'm going to have to stick a butterfly on there. Amazing advances in technology that we have got going on these days. And, you know, you have to take the good with the bad. It's like, you could say foreign travel, you know, terrible for the environment. But also, you know, oh, that looks better, doesn't it? Yes, it, you know, uses up fuel for aviation and all that stuff. But also, you know, it broadens the mind. It brings people together, brings opportunities for people. And, you know, what you going to do? Are you going to bury your head in the sand and pretend that none of it's happening? It's not going anywhere, is it? I think the prudent use of AI for, yeah, that looks nice. Tiny butterflies from the butterfly page in my book. But they're all those spring-like colours, so you haven't got to hunt around for things that are going to work. Yeah, the prudent use of AI is just amazing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've reviewed some books that were clearly written by AI on Amazon, and they were pretty shocking, to be honest, and not something that you would buy somebody. However, using AI to develop your ideas as like a sparring partner for, you know, ideas for a collage book, possibly, or, you know, just to give you a different perspective, I think is a really valuable tool. So, like with anything, it's something to learn to work with rather than to run away and hide from. And yeah, technology coming down the tracks, hopefully we'll be able to solve the problem of how much electricity all the data centres are using. I'm sure that that issue will become addressed, you know, soon as, hopefully. And then we can create and learn and innovate and yeah. Anyway, right, let's get back to this. Come on, Keely, sort your head out. I say I have had a bit of a migraine for about 10 days, nearly 2 weeks now. So it's very annoying. But I've got to plough on. Love this little girl in her welly boots. Isn't she cute? There. So, yeah, you know, if you've watched this before, that I really love sort of imagery from mid-century, let's call it, the 1900s. So 1930s, 1940s, love the 50s. You know, I just really enjoy recreating all the sort of books that I grew up with, those gorgeous sort of children's annuals, you know, poetry books and books about fairies and fantasy, and I just love all that stuff. And I love all the kind of Enid Blyton books as well, with those gorgeous 1930s aesthetics, you know, very traditional kind of. I think that one might be finished. She doesn't need a butterfly on her head, does she? There, so that's 2 done. Rather like the giant poppy or anemone coming up from behind the tree there, behind the cottage as well. I told you I'd got a headache today. There we go. Right, hope you like those. Let's put those over there. And what else shall we have? Now I've got all of these. Get back to the actual crafting. Love this. You see, I do also like sort of Greco-Roman architecture and, you know, butterflies, that one says. I suppose we could have butterflies and a getting through these butterflies like nobody's business, aren't I? That's rather lovely, says Keely to herself. But I've run out of butterflies after these. Just want to sort of balance the colours. Oh, I love that. It's a bit pale though, isn't it? Compared to the other 2. That's got that big splodge of pink. Maybe it might work better on a stronger background. So it's got a bit more colour. Butterflies. Or is it just going to disappear? What do we think? What do we think? Yeah, that bit looks a bit weird, doesn't it? Let's try one more. What about this one? That's got quite an even spread of pattern on it. I think this is why it's so much fun to make unique backgrounds before you start. Oh, did I tell you my son gave me a new mini gel plate? Well, I did ask him. He asked me what I wanted. So a mini gel plate. I can't remember what size it is now. I think it's 5x7. I've diligently tidied it away because my room was getting a bit out of order. But oh, I'm so hoping when I've got all the decorating done and everything else that's going on, I'm really hoping to just dedicate half a day to gel printing because it is a bit messy. There, I like that. I think there's enough going on in the background. I love this sort of blossom branch. So it's like the background images are big and the foreground images are small. So it's got that sort of random or back to front juxtaposition going on. I need to use those little hedgehogs, don't I? Right, let's just put those there. It's sort of running out of space. So yeah, there we go. So this book so far has proved quite popular and I haven't really shown it very much. And so nobody's really seen this book yet. But people have managed to find it on Amazon, or, you know, if you want to know about my books, or if you just want to show a bit of support for me and my channel and my projects, follow me on Amazon and you'll get a notification when I bring out a new book. So you can check it out. And yeah, that would help me enormously because I want to carry on doing this. You know, it's not a big income or anything for me, but it is growing and it's just fun and I love it and I love hanging out with you guys and I love the community on YouTube. It's really supportive and it's just exciting, and I've missed it desperately over the last, I think it's been 2 or 3 weeks since I actually managed to get a video out, and I've been working on this one sporadically, so I'm so sorry about that if you've been waiting for a crafting with Keely video. But yeah, life stuff. 1, 2, 3, there's just room for this tiny butterfly. There we go. So what I love about this book, actually, now that I'm using it, is the labels, excuse me, the labels and the extra little bits like the butterflies page. Oh, maybe should have moved that up a bit. No, too late. There we go. Right, so there's 3 done. Oh, I'll add in the video that I made, a very brief one, of the Mothering Sunday Mother's Day card that I made with the other one as well. So this is the ATC I made into my Mother's Day card for Mum. And yeah, she's not been very well, so it was really good to see her the other day. And yeah, took her some flowers and we had a nice quiet day at home. So just choosing some more ephemera from a teeny tiny spring book. And the thing with teeny tiny images is you can cram so much into one book. So there's loads of options. I'm looking for something to put on this ATC, and I've got a bird and a mouse both sitting on books. I think I only need one. Probably going to go with the bird. So I'm thinking, excuse me, this little park bench surrounded by, you know, spring flowers might go very nicely down there. So let's just cut that out. Yeah, I think that'll work. Saving the background. There we go. I think that works better. So we've got a sort of a long distance picture, far distance, we've got a close-up, and then we've got our little girl character with her book there with the sweet little flowers in her hair. She's so pretty, isn't she? There we go. I think I could do with some words on that one as well. Spring, that might be good. Does what it says on the tin, doesn't it? Cherry blossom, that would look pretty, but there isn't any cherry blossom in that picture. What about that one? Can you see it? Let's go for that. There's another one there. That one's a bit smaller. I think that will fit. There we go. There, I think that one's worked out really nicely. So spring, it can just overlap there. Right, let's glue that one down. Sorry, little mouse, we'll have to use you another time because you're ever so cute. Just gives you plenty of options, and you know, they work with so many different projects, don't they? I know Gail Angus-Tonelli's been using my flowers and my butterflies in a load of her junk journal ephemera, or creative journal ephemera. It's certainly not junk, the things that she makes sort of get lumped in with that group of craft types, I guess. And her books are available on Etsy. Handmade journals, and they're absolutely stunning and beautiful. Right, so that needs to go about there because that one's going to go. Let's slide it up just a smidge. There, I think. And that one's going to go there. Perfect, darlings. Just perfect. So what am I going to make with all these little tiny background pieces? I've got loads of them. Haven't decided yet. I might do something. I think I said this about 2 weeks ago when I started making this video. I might do something in one of my journals and just make a yummy background page. There we go. That one's done. Right, so I've got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 done. 4 left. I think I've picked everything for this ATC. Actually, I quite like it with them a bit winky wonky, and it has got some words. It's got springtime and seeds as well, on like a little seed packet or a seed label. So she's having a cup of tea and thinking, maybe I'll put my wellies on and get out in the garden and do some planting. So I think I'll stick the seed packet one down first. Let's just do that because the others have to sort of work around that one. Oh yes, I like that there with the little seed packet underneath. Hope you can see that okay. Let's put the wellies there. Just give a tiny bit of breathing space in between the, what's the name, and the thingamabob. There we are. Oh, did I put them too close together? Maybe I did. Oh, no. Perhaps I need a butterfly just to break up that squashed look. Come here, butterfly. So Demi at Demi Crafts. I got to know Demi off Instagram mostly, but she is a master of tiny artwork. And if you haven't seen her channel, check her out. She makes amazing inchies and twinchies and tiny projects. She's brilliant at it. And she started doing zines as well, which are just so wonderful. But she's really, really good at balancing composition on tiny little projects like this. So I take my hat off to you, Demi, because you are so brilliant at doing this. Where should that go? There. Right, so what are we going to do with this little girl? I thought she went very well with the kitty with the yellow bow because of her yellow hat, but they're both facing the same way. I'm not sure if that's what I want. I've also got this beautiful lady with the pink rose. I don't know what to put with her. Maybe some flowers, something like that. Oh, there's this gorgeous dog. She's going to take the dog for a walk. Could do that. Or there's a bunny. You see that bunny? Not with that one. Spring fashion. I was going to put that with these two ladies, but they need fussy cutting. Do that in a minute. I'm a bit stuck. I think I need to flip through the book again. Look for some more ideas, and let's get a new glue stick. Ta-da! Might be able to use up that last little bit. Right, back to the book. So I'm looking for something. Pull these together. I could go with the gorgeous, that's my favourite page, gorgeous daffodils page to find something to go with this, couldn't I? Kittens. What about a great big vase of daffs? That one's lovely, isn't it? And a bit bigger. Oh, it's a bit bright. Maybe that one would sit better with those slightly softer colours. Yeah, let's go for that. And I could always add a daffodil, you know, instead of a butterfly, couldn't I, as an extra little embellishment. Maybe I should do a book just of embellishments. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Nice pattern on the back, look. Birds and lemons. It's hard to cut this page out because I just love it so much. But got to be done. Oh, I went a bit close to the edge there. I think we're all right though. So, daffodil ephemera. Go in the box. So let's cut a couple of these little daffodil ephemera things out and see whether we want to swap the kitty or let's just play. Let's cut a few more bits. One page, I don't want to cut those ladies up. Sorry, ladies. Just cut those two little labels, and I put these in the book with the intention of, you know, if you've got a bullet journal or something like that, or just a sort of spring journal, or if you're going through the seasons in your diary and prettying it up, you could use some of these in amongst your pages just to give that spring sprinkle of spring. So let's see. Oh, they like these little floral labels. Maybe I want to keep the kitten. I like that in the middle. It's a bit plonked. Oops. Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? Maybe need something yellow there. Oh, that could go there. Oh, I love daffodils. I always buy a bunch of daffodils. The first ones that I see in the shops for my house in spring. Just because it reminds me that spring is on the way. And they're just so cheerful, aren't they? Right. Ah, there we go. Oh, I love that. Right, let's stick those down before, you know, I sneeze or something, blow them all over the place. Glue stick. Let's do the kitty first. Oh, I love that. It's a bit more dancey as well, isn't it? With everything sort of jiggling around a little bit. Like that one. Doesn't always have to be straight, does it? There we go. Right, so what's left? Two left. So I need to fussy cut those two spring fashion ladies. Maybe find one other piece of ephemera. Well, the dog, he could be part of the spring fashion, couldn't he? He's got the same colours as her dress. And then I need to work out about this one. Well, I am on the home straight now. I've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ATCs, plus the one that I made for Mother's Day card. And yeah, I'm on the home straight. So I've picked out these little pieces. I think I want that lady to go there. And some flowers and a very cute sparrow on a little blossom branch. There's still loads of blossom out in London where I'm based, which is so pretty, except the weather is dismal again today. Thought it was going to be nice, but no, it's miserable still. There we are. Right, and we changed the clocks here in the UK this weekend, so that means I've got to get up an extra hour early to go to work on Sunday, but never mind. It's all good. It's fine. Right, so that's how I'm going to put those. Let's just glue them down very quickly. And the final one. So I've got these little bits here. Two gorgeous sort of 1930s ladies there with baskets. And I think I'm going to put those one either side. And this little dog, look, his outfit matches hers. So he needs to go on there. And there we go. And a very sweet butterfly from the butterflies page in my book. And I had to use one of those, look, spring fashion from yesteryear. There we go. Right, yeah, I do love my vintage, don't I? If you know my other books, I've done Antique Shop Ephemera, I've done Afternoon Tea Ephemera, I've got my vintage flowers and butterflies and vintage mushrooms. And those books are original artwork. Well, they're not, because that would mean someone had painted in the book. But you know what I mean? They are from, you know, original vintage illustrations, which have all been put together in my books, as opposed to AI, as discussed. There, how pretty are those? I love them. And that little pup, he's going to go there. Look at his cute little outfit. Loving that. There we are. I've seen a lot of adorable little dogs lately going up and down the streets of London town. There we go. Butterfly. And last but not least, spring fashion. I'm so happy that I put these labels in this book. Oh, sorry, I've got a frog in my throat. There we are. So happy that I've done that because they're really easy to add. Right, so here's the whole lot. So we've got that one, that one. I think that's one of my favourites. You have to let me know down in the comments which of these is your favourite. So the seed packet, or the, what would you call that? A folly, I would call it. Looks like a little bandstand, doesn't it? Or that one, Welcome Back Spring. Or that one, A Fresh Beginning. Now this one, I don't think that looks finished. What can I add to make it look finished? I think it needs a butterfly. Here are two. Are they too big? That's probably too big. Maybe that could go there. It doesn't have any words, does it? Oh dear. It doesn't have to have words. Let's just add the butterfly. I might have a quick peek in the book and see if there's one more very small butterfly that I could add. Or, hey, what about I find a very teeny tiny image, because it doesn't need much, does it? I'm thinking maybe something down there, because at the front of this book, look, these are even more teeny tiny. Watch it grow. A fresh beginning. Seeds. Early spring days. Well, she's wearing a t-shirt, so it's not early spring days there, is it? There is another page there. It doesn't have any labels, although this introductory page does. See, I've even made it so you can cut all of this out as well. And these are the little ATCs that I made electronically to show you some of the ideas. And those patterns are at the back as well. So, what can I just add for a tiny bit more something? Spring joy. We can, hey, why don't we just add spring joy down here on a watering can? Let's do that. And then I've used one of the really, really teeny tiny images. So these would be great for like artists trading coins or inches, or like I'm using, just to find some teeny ephemera to, you know, balance things out on, you know, ATCs is a pretty pattern. Keep that one. ATCs and other tiny projects. So let me know what you're doing for your spring crafts, if you are indeed doing some spring crafts. Ever since I started doing my cut and collage books, I've been quite drawn to the seasonal aspect of the ephemera. I just think it gets you in the mood, doesn't it? And journaling does have that sort of time aspect. You know, what time of year was it when you made that particular project? And you can see by the colours, certainly in the books and the artwork that I've been busy creating these last sort of 3 or so years, you can see that I am very influenced by the seasons. And even if you look on my Instagram, which I don't use as much as I probably ought to, I do love Instagram, and I absolutely love seeing what other people have made, especially if it is with my books. But even if it's not, it's so inspiring, isn't it? I can't get that bit out. Come on. I'm being a bit too fussy here. There we go, that will have to do. So that, how does it look? Cut it out very badly. Let's do it a bit better. Spring joy. I'm not quite so sure about that one. Maybe there. And we could put that butterfly right in the middle, couldn't we? What do you reckon? Still not quite convinced by that one. It's a shame, because I love that image and I love the idea of this one. This is why it's so good to have a real range of options. I could have a tiny mouse, look, with a daisy. Nice pigs. Oh, maybe it's too crowded then. I can't choose. I can't choose. Seeds. Spring is in the air. Some flowers. Oh, I'm just going to stick that one down. Might just have to accept that that one isn't quite finished. I can always come back to it later on, can't I? After the event. Spring joy. There. Right, I definitely want to ink around the edges just because I love to do that. Yeah, that's improved that one. I think even just the inking just makes it all hold together a bit better. I think maybe I just put the pigs a bit too far in the middle. I don't know, but you never stop learning with composition, do you? Just playing around, seeing what things look like. That's why I love collage, because you haven't got to get it right first time. You only stick it down when you're sure, if you want to. Yeah, the inking is really helping, I think, to just make them look like they're finished. Well, this is turning into a marathon video. Probably the longest one I've done. It certainly took me the longest time to get it finished. I think I might pick a smaller project next time, perhaps a journal page or a postcard. I haven't done a postcard since forever. But I do love my art journals, so I might need to get all steampunky again soon, I think. Although I'm having so much fun with these spring colours, especially with the weather being so pants. It's cheering things along. There we go, there's 4. And these are not for trade. If you were thinking you wanted to get me to trade with you, I'm afraid I just haven't got the space in my life to do actual trading with my artist trading cards, although maybe one day. I might have said that earlier in the video. It's taken me about 3 weeks to make this video. There we go. I think this one might be my favourite, actually, with the daffodils. But do let me know in the comments which one's your favourite. And let me know if you've bought my Spring Ephemera book as well, the teeny tiny one. And let me know if you've written me a review. That would be even better. But you really do get an awful lot when it's a teeny tiny book. A lot of choice, even though everything is teeny and tiny. There we go. Tag me, won't you, if you make anything with this book. On Instagram, I'm on TikTok. The links are all in my YouTube channel page, and I'll try and remember to put them below as well for you. So I love seeing what you've created, or you could post in the community area if you've made something with one of my books. I would love that. It'd be really fun to see what you've been making. There we go, all done. So we've got spring fashion. We've got that little guy reading a book. Spring. We've got the butterflies and the gazebo. We've got that one, the daffodils one. Got a fresh beginning. We've got the springtime and seeds. We've got welcome back spring. And we've got spring joy with the piglets. There we go. Right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've made it to the end, let me know in the comments. I made it to the end, please, because I'd just like to know whether you got to the end. Anyway, guys, croaky voice. Right, I'm going to go. You take care. Lots of love to you all, and I hope to see you again before too long. Take care. Bye.